Hi everyone, welcome to Cohen's Kitchen. For today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I make the steamed pork belly with preserved mustard greens. I cannot tell you enough how much I love this dish. It is a Cantonese dish that is popular in Hong Kong. However, most Hong Kongers prefer having it in restaurants instead of making it at home. Not because it's difficult to make, but because there are a lot of steps and it takes a long time to make. Now that I live in the UK, it's quite difficult for me to find a good one in restaurants, so I have to make my own. For practical reasons, my version simplifies some of the steps, shortens the cooking time, and most importantly, minimize the amount of washing that's needed. So, let's start making it!
The ingredients of my recipe include approximately 600 g of pork belly, 200 g of sweet preserved mustard greens, a few slices of ginger, 2 to 3 spring onions, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 bay leaves, and 2 star anise to begin with. Bay leaves and star anise are optional, but if you have them, they do add some depth into the flavor. Then for the sauce or marinade, you need 3 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cooking wine, 1 teaspoon of ground white pepper, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. It sounds very precise, but the ratio is just a reference really. Feel free to adjust to your preference when you cook it. Now to make the dish, first wash the ginger and the spring onions. For this recipe, you don't have to peel the ginger, but if you want to do it anyway, I recommend using a spoon to scrape the skin off like this. After that, slice the ginger and cut the spring onions into short chunks. Remember to remove the roots of the spring onions as well. Now as you can see, the pork belly is quite huge, so for convenience, I also cut them in half. After that, put the pork belly, the ginger slices, and the spring onions into a saucepan. Fill it in with water until everything is covered. Then bring them to boil and cook for 30 minutes. While it's cooking, occasionally turn the belly so that it cooks fully. When it's about done, start soaking the sweet preserved mustard greens in cold water. It needs to be soaked for 30 to 45 minutes. When it's done, take the pork belly out on the sieve to dry and discard the water, the ginger, and the spring onions. As you can see here, I'm using a fork to poke holes into the skin of the belly repeatedly. This is an optional step, but it helps improve the texture of the skin when it's fried later. Another optional step is to color the pork belly with some extra dark soy sauce while it's still hot. This is what most recipes online do. I'm showing it here as an option, but I have another way of doing it later in my recipe. After the mustard greens are soaked for 30 to 45 minutes, wash them carefully under running water because there are still sands trapped in the folded leaves. Cut the mustard greens into smaller bits. Remove and discard the hard bits of the trunks. Now you can also take the time to mince the 2 cloves of garlic. And after that, the pork belly should be dried already. Now, prepare a dry and clean saucepan or pan with lid that is large enough for you to put the pork belly in skin down. Pour in enough oil so that when you put the pork belly in, the oil can cover the skin part. Heat up the oil until you can see a netting pattern. Then put in the pork belly with the skin down, cover the pan with a lid, and remember to press on it because it will pop. Fry the pork belly skin on medium heat for 5 minutes. Then turn off the heat and wait until it stops sizzling before you take it out and let it cool down. After you take the pot belly out, reheat the oil and stir fry the mustard greens bits, minced garlic, 2 bay leaves and 2 star anise. Again, bay leaves and star anise are optional. Don't worry if you don't have them at hand. Stir fry the ingredients for approximately 5 minutes, then remove from the heat and let it sit aside. Now, this is an optional step that is original to my recipe. Put the pot belly into a saucepan of cold water, pour in some dark soy sauce, bring to a boil and boil it for 30 minutes or more. This process colors the pot belly and further softens its texture, reducing the steaming time later. I find this step particularly useful when cooking the pot belly in the UK, which I think has a tougher skin with more collagen than the pot belly in Hong Kong. After you boil it, take the pot belly out to cool down until it is good to handle. While you wait, prepare the marinade by mixing 3 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cooking wine, and approximately 1 teaspoon of ground white pepper. Note that the cornstarch in the recipe is not needed here yet. After you prepare the marinade and the pot belly is cool enough to handle, slice it. I like to cut it into thicker slices, but it is really up to personal preferences. Make sure you marinate every bit of each slice, then arrange them skin down onto a plate or into a bowl that is suitable for steaming. Here you can see that I use the same plate for mixing the marinade and marinating the pot belly. After you arrange the slices, cover them with the mustard green bits that you stir fried earlier. If you added the bay leaves and the star anise, put them on the very top. Now we finally enter the final stage of steaming. Prepare the pot for steaming and then steam the pot belly, first on high heat for 15 minutes, then low heat for 15 minutes, then high again and low again. It means in total you will steam the pot belly for 1 hour. If you want the pot belly to have an even softer texture, continue to steam for another hour, similarly alternating the high and low heat at a 15 minutes interval. Do remember to fill in boiling water from time to time to prevent the water from running dry in the steaming pot. When you're about finished steaming, dissolve a tablespoon of cornstarch with some cold water on a separate pan. Then take the pot belly out and carefully transfer the liquid that it sits in to mix with the cornstarch mixture. Transfer the bay leaves and the star anise if you have them too. Now you can heat and stir the mixture until it thickens to become the sauce. Meanwhile, you can put the pot belly back into the pot and keep it warm with the remaining heat. Now it is ready to serve. You can pour the sauce directly back onto the pot belly and serve, but if you want a nicer presentation, put a larger plate on top and flip it over quickly. Then pour the sauce that you just made on top. Now the skin is right side up, and finally you can have your steamed pork belly with preserved mustard greens.
Wow, what a journey! I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you're not deterred by the lengthy process in making it. You know, feel free to skip the optional steps, although they do help with the appearance and they improve the texture of the dish. In fact, if you're patient enough, put the steamed pork belly in the fridge overnight and reheat the next day for the best result. If this Cantonese dish teaches me anything, it will be patience. Comment down below and let me know what you think about my recipe and your experience of making this dish. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel for more cooking or baking video in the future. See you next time in Koan's Kitchen.